When you're a hypocrite, you don't have to pretend. I do it every single season. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review episode 3 of The Real Housewives Who Are Clumsy and Weird of Beverly Hills. We start the episode off at Crystal's house, who's having a luncheon for all the women, minus Sutton, who's in Austin, Texas, opening up a cashmere line for her store. So we're left with Erica, Kyle, Lisa, and Garcelle. Crystal, she brings out food, she brings out drinks, everybody's talking. We get the first mention of Kathy Hilton from Kyle, because she brings it out with Garcelle, and she's like, Garcelle, I saw that Kathy was a guest on your show, The Real, this week. How was that? And Garcelle, I'm curious to know what her expressions and what her feelings are about her show, The Real, getting canceled. Maybe she'll talk about it later on the season at the reunion. I'm just curious to know. So she tells Kyle, oh yeah, everything is fine with Kathy. She was such a lovely guest. I mean, me and her are like sisters. Yes, sisters. You wouldn't know anything about that, right? You don't have that type of relationship with her? You don't? Aw, that sucks. But yeah, everything is fine. So Kyle is like, okay, understandable. And then she tells the other women, she's like, well, is everybody coming to La Quinta? And I'm like, damn, we're already getting back to La Quinta? It feels like we were just there 5 seconds ago last season. So she's like, is anybody coming to La Quinta to support my new business? I believe she's opening a store called Face Expressions by Kyle Richards again. And I'm like, why are we opening up a store again, knowing the consequences of your other ventures like that? But all right, so she goes on to say, yeah, I'm opening up a store, you know, over there is cheaper. And it's understandable. I mean, I guess if she has the money and the resources and the time, why not go for it for the 100th shot? So she's like, is everybody coming out to support my store that's going to close down in 5 months? Yeah, I want everybody to come out. You'll get maybe like a 25% discount, maybe 50, depending on what Mauricio, you know, intends. And then all of a sudden, Dorit needs to go to the bathroom. And you know the producers probably told Dorit, we need you to get up and go to the kitchen, go make a sandwich, do something, like, but we need you to be out the room so Kyle could play this voicemail. So Dorit was just like, okay, guys, I need to use a bathroom right now. Crystal, do you happen to have a bidet in the bathroom on the toilet? Because when I went to France, I used one of those bidets. Do you have one? You don't? It's okay, I carry one in my purse. So Dorit, she gets up and she walks out, she heads to the bathroom, and you know Kyle was probably looking at her like, okay, just wait till she closes the bathroom door. She's about to close it. Guys, so guess what? I got this crazy voicemail by Dorit. And I'm like, there you go again, Kyle, pulling a Melissa Gorga. Like, that voicemail was probably meant to be something private between you and Dorit. But yet, here you are just putting it on blast. So she's like, guys, you need to listen to it. It's so sad. It's gonna really pull at your heart. Like, make sure that you're all crying, okay? Or else I'm gonna be really, really pissed. And you better get... Camera guy, put the boom mic right over my phone. Yeah, I'm gonna play it in a second. Are you ready? I need you to listen to this because, yeah, this storyline is about me. Okay, is everybody ready? Wait, I need to make myself look like I'm crying. Okay, I'm gonna press play.
Legs and hips and body, let's get them, girls. Wrong
voicemail. That was the wrong voicemail. So she goes, the voicemail basically was Dorit having a whole breakdown on the phone to Kyle's, telling her about everything that she's going through with the robbery and how it still affects her. And Kyle, again, she is just so hell-bent on just being like, oh, this is all about me. This is all about me. This is all about me. And I've already expressed it that I don't believe Dorit or PK's story or this robbery. But, I mean, Dorit, at least... to a certain extent, she's not doing the most the way Kyle is. Kyle is trying to force it down everybody's throats like, you need to feel bad, you need to feel bad, you need to feel bad. How dare you not cry? How dare you not cry with Dorit? She is our friend. Dorit is not doing all of that. Yeah, Dorit could be acting to a certain extent, but she's not doing it all over the top the way Kyle is. And that's why, Kyle, you have me looking at your friend sideways. This is all on you. So Dorit, if I was you, I would have told Kyle, can you shut the hell up and let me cry? Like, let me deal with this whole situation. I want to play it out by myself. I don't need to. You weren't part of that. At this point, I believe that Kyle was probably one of the robbers at this point to make this whole storyline about her. I mean, she is so consistent with it. I'm like, relax. It's not about you. So then Dorit, all of a sudden, she comes back now, right? You know, the producers are probably like, okay, Dorit, you could come back out. Garcelle is like, so Dorit, how's everything? Like, how have you been feeling about this whole situation with you became the robbery? And Dorit, she goes on to say that she's been having anxiety. I believe she's taking a Xanax, but she's still going through with it. And she still has to, you know, push along with it. So I'm like, okay, okay, Dorit, you got to do what you got to do to make yourself stronger. So then Kyle, she just blew the whole fuse, and she was just like, well, okay, back to me. Okay, that's nice and all, Dorit, but back to me. So me and Sutton, we had this conversation, and the conversation got so heated. I mean, I almost threw a drink at her. She attacked me. She almost flipped the table at me. Like, me and her almost got it on at her store, and it was just wild. It was just very, very it was out of control. And she told me something really, really damaging about you. And she said, well, I'm sorry that I didn't have a gun to my head the way Dorit had. And I'm like, Kyle, you're only giving Dorit half the story, 25% of the story, honestly, of what you and Sutton discussed. I mean, you didn't tell her about the backstory that Sutton gave you, about her trauma, about her father, about her robbery. You didn't tell her that. All you did was try to paint Sutton out to be this cold-hearted person. Yes, it could seem cold-hearted to a certain extent, but again, everybody reacts to it differently. And Sutton, specifically Sutton, we know that she's kind of socially awkward, I guess, if you want to label her, and she doesn't react the way everybody, is supposed to react, I guess, in Kyle's world. So Dorit, she's shocked about it. She's like, what? I'm going to discuss it with her one-on-one. And of course, Erika just had to put her 2 cents in, and she's like, wow, she really said that? Like, I cannot believe that. That is so cold-hearted. Like, who said such a thing like that? And I'm like, Erika, if I was you, I would like, you're better off just being under the radar, because if you're under the radar, nobody's going to mention what you and Tom allegedly did all last year. The more you try to put yourself in front of the cameras, the more the audience is just going to throw the receipts back in your face every single time you say some bullshit on the show. And on top of that, you trying to say that Sutton said something bad. Let's talk about what you did, and let's talk about what you said. Like, Erika, come on now. Garcelle starts to feel uncomfortable about where the conversation is heading, because it seems that Kyle is trying to shit talk her friend behind her back. So Garcelle is like, wait, I don't feel comfortable. I think that we should have this conversation when Sutton is in the room, face to face. Dorit, she agrees to it. She's like, yeah, that's no problem. It's fine. I need camera time. Kyle, she goes on to say, yeah, that's fine, but I'm still gonna talk shit for my confessional. Then we get Kyle on the road, already on her way to La Quinta, and I'm like, damn, already the producers are working 10 times fast this season, because we already got like 20,000 group shots, 20,000 luncheons, 20,000 events, and it's only been 3 episodes. Like, damn. But I don't mind it, because I don't want the whole drawn out one-on-one solo scenes with them and their family, or talking about their children's grade, or talking about Harry's nasty ass sauce. Nobody needs that, so let me not even jinx it. So she calls up her business partner, Shanita, and she's telling Shanita, oh, Shanita, we're gonna open up this brand new store in the middle of Palm Springs, and I believe the store is gonna be called Hypocrite by Kyle Richards. And she's telling her that the reason why she's opening up in Palm Springs is because the real estate is much cheaper. So if anything happens with her store, or it flops again, then she's already prepared for it financially. And I'm like, okay, Kyle, as long as you know what's about to happen. And honestly, I don't know why she's putting herself in the same situation again. We already seen you, Kyle, open up 20,000 stores. What is this one going to be any different? I mean, just because it's in a cheaper location? I mean, okay, if anything, if I was you, I would just open up an Etsy shop and just, sell your clothes like that, or make an Instagram boutique, something like that. But I mean, a whole store? I don't know. I'll give Kyle the same advice that I gave to Robin from Potomac when dealing with her hat business, and that is to contact Candy from Atlanta, pay her to teach you a couple of things on how to be a businesswoman, and honestly, just cut out Shanita altogether, because we've seen what that business relationship has gotten you so far with her. Nowhere. And honestly, you and Candy could do like a crossover special. You could call it Beverly Hills Candy Coated or something like that. You could have like your own exclusive product with Candy and sell it at your store in Palm Springs. Maybe you could have like an exclusive dildo or some exclusive vibrating panties, something. And you could sell it at your store. I'm pretty sure that will make you more money than the Target dresses that you want to sell. We head over to Garcelle's house, and she's there with her assistant Taz, who's helping her pack up all her stuff to head out to La Quinta. She also lets us know that she'll be staying at Kyle's house while she's over there. Next thing you know, the doorbell rings and they rush over. There's a bunch of delivery people there to deliver this huge statue made of purple crystals, and the statue is in the shape of a purple butterfly. It looks really pretty, and Garcelle's reasoning for getting this statue is because she feels that with all the bad vibe that's been going around with Dorit and the robbery, that she needs some good vibe and some good energy in her house and around her. And these crystals, I believe that the crystals are meant to align your spirit, your good energy, and just keep everything around you positive. But again, I'm not really too familiar with the whole crystal thing, but that's her reasoning for it. And she says that if worst comes to worst, if it doesn't work and somebody still tries to break into her house, that the statue is going to be big enough and heavy enough to just fall over on the robbers and kill them. And I'm like, well, damn, Garcelle, that's one way to look at it. And honestly, I would put all my trust on this statue first before I ever put my trust in Teddy and her husband's security system that they got going on around Beverly Hills. We head over to Erika's shoebox and we finally get a different view from the inside of her house because these last two episodes, she's only been filming from the inside of her kitchen. For a second, I thought she was filming in front of a green screen and that all of this was just all pretend and it was all fake and it wasn't really there. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past her to film at a movie lot, and this is all a huge studio and all of this is just a bunch of props. But we see her in her room and the room is just so cramped up. She's there with her two assistants. Her two assistants, they're struggling to breathe because there's barely any oxygen in the room itself. She's there and sitting on her bed, and her bed is in the middle of the room, right? And then if you even just move just a centimeter to the left, boom, there's the bathroom toilet. And then if you turn around, boom, the kitchen is right there too. Like everything is just so cramped up. The bags are all over the floor. The shoes are everywhere. Like everything is just all spaced together. The assistants are helping her pick out her clothes and styling her all together. But my thing is, how is Erika paying for their services? I'm pretty sure she probably told them, if you help me out and you do it all for free and you style me out for free, I'll tag you on Instagram and that way you'll gain an exposure and you'll gain a following because I have over 1 million followers. So I'm pretty sure they're all going to want to follow you because you styled me all together so nicely. And they were probably like, well, you know what? We're desperate right now and we're helping out this famous person. So why not? And that's probably what came to be. If there was no money involved, she also lets us know, well, I mean, typically I never wear things more than once. I usually just wear it once and that's it. And I go resell it. And with that money, I go buy new things to wear on the show. But now, since my whole situation with Tom, the bank, everything is just, I can't touch anything in my bank account right now. So I have to just wear things a couple of more times, more than once. And I'm like, yikes, how have the mighty Erika Jayne has fallen. I mean, then again, Erika, if I was you, I would just get an orange jumpsuit and call it a day. Just wear that every day. And I can't even say too much on the Erika situation with having to repeat clothes because I do it for my videos. I'm not sure if anybody has caught on, but for my videos, I typically wear the same shirts every other video. Why? Because I sweat a lot. I get very hot when I'm filming, so I have to wear a tank top. If I try to wear a regular shirt or just anything, I sweat through it and I get so uncomfortable and it becomes a whole issue and a whole process. So that's why I have to wear the similar tank tops every other video. If nobody has noticed, well, now you do. So Erika, me and you, we could relate to each other. We could both be raggedy bitches together on the same boat. We see Kyle over in La Quinta and she's getting everything ready in the kitchen. She's calling up Mauricio, telling him that she had to go grocery shopping by herself. She had to drive out here by herself. And I'm like, oh, boo, Kyle, boo, your life is so hard. And speaking of having her life so hard, she goes on to talk about the whole Wreath situation. And then in a flashback, we see PK calling Kyle. And I'm like, how many phone calls is PK going to give to Kyle? And for why and for what? I don't know. It's starting to look suspicious over there in Beverly Hills. Why is he constantly calling Kyle? Shouldn't you be worried about the Wreath or your children? Like, why are we calling Kyle out of all people? But all right, so she goes on to say in her confessional, she starts making the whole thing about herself. And she's like, oh, you know, when I went through it. No, I get it. I get it. The Wreath went through it. But when I went through it, it was just so hard. I get it. No, I get it that the Wreath got robbed. But when I got robbed, I get it. The Wreath is sad and depressed. But when I was depressed, and I'm like, Kyle, okay, we get it. Like, we get it. You were robbed. We understand what you went through. We get it. You understand what the Wreath is going through. We get it. But damn, she is just really trying to force that whole story down our throats. Like, we get it. You feel some type of way about it. We understand. We should all feel the same way. Okay. Meanwhile, back over at Erika's shoebox, everybody reunites there. And it was just so strange seeing Erika, Lisa, Garcelle, and I believe Crystal and Diana. They also showed up and they looked like a bunch of sardines in her kitchen. Like, they were just so close to each other. Why are we in the kitchen? Like, I think this is like a hazard or a fire hazard or something. Having too many people in the kitchen that close to each other in this cramped up house. But then eventually they split up, and I believe Diana and Crystal, they take one truck, and then Lisa, Erika, and Garcelle go on the other truck. That's the truck that I would be at, because the other truck, it looked kind of boring, and the conversation that they were having, pretty shallow too, coming from Diana's part, because as they're driving to Palm Springs, what's her name, Crystal, she's like, oh, Diana, have you ever went to the outlets here? And Diana's like, the what? Like, you would think that you probably like insulted her by just asking her that question. She was like, the outlets? No. And then Crystal's just like, oh, well, I don't pay anything retail. I usually wait for the discounts or the sales. And this is where you get, discounts the things at. And then Diana in her confessional, she's like, no, I wear Balenciaga. I wear Louis Vuitton. I get clothes delivered to my house and I pick out what I like, and what I don't, I send it back. And I'm like, well, damn. And they're also eating like, I believe some vegan chips or something like that. Meanwhile, in the other truck, everybody's just downing a bunch of junk food. They're having a good time. But Diana, I'm not sure how to feel about her yet. I mean, her allegations are one thing, but her as a person, I'm not sure yet. I think if she actually runs with this whole I'm a bitchy rich person character, and she actually, goes along with it and doesn't deny it, then maybe I'll be here for it. But so far, I don't know. She kind of rubs me the wrong way just by acting like that. Like, okay, we get it. You have money. Take the stick out your ass. Everyone finally arrives at Kyle's house in La Quinta. Dorit, she was already waiting there with Kyle. She came by herself. But did y'all hear her shady comment that she threw at Lisa the second that Lisa approached her? Lisa went in for a hug, and then Dorit was just like, oh, hey, are you gonna go change? I'm like, damn, even she knew that she looked a mess. And Lisa's like, yeah, I'm gonna go change upstairs now. But everybody is staying in the house minus Sutton, who also arrived as well. She came by herself. I'm assuming she came from Austin. Her, Diana, and Crystal, they're not staying in the house. They're staying in their own separate hotels. And speaking of hotels, Diana, she has her own squad, her own glam squad that checks out the room. Like, they inspect her or whatever before she goes and stays. And I believe one of the rules is that her bed or something, the way she lays down, she can't be facing a wall. She needs to be facing the door or something like that. And I'm like, wow, very, very uppity. Let's just say that. And then I believe one of her hairstylists, I believe his name was Ricky. Hey, Ricky, he looked cute. I mean, I know I don't have any hair for you to style, but I mean, you could style something else. But, very interesting rules when it comes to Diana. Crystal and Sutton are the first two to finish getting ready. So Crystal pulls Sutton to the side and she tells her, well, I just want to have a conversation with you about something that Kyle let the group know, that you said some insensitive comments about Dorit and the situation that she went through with the robbers putting a gun to her head. So Sutton, she tries to explain, and she goes on to explain further that, yeah, I did say some comments that it could seem insensitive, it could seem cold-hearted, but honestly, I don't think it's coming from a bad place of heart, at least from my opinion. I just don't think that Sutton is really trying to low blow Dorit or trying to shade her in any type of way. She goes on to explain that, yeah, it's her own trauma that she dealt with her dad, her robbery. Her dad took a gun to his head, and then that was it. So, of course, she doesn't really feel comfortable talking about guns or just any guns in general being put to people's heads. So, of course, when Kyle brings it up, or when she talks about it, or when she hears about somebody putting a gun to Dorit's head, of course, Sutton is going to think back to what happened with her dad. So, of course, she's not going to want to talk about it. But for some reason, Kyle just wants to just hammer away like, no, you need to feel bad, Sutton. You need to feel bad. I get that you have trauma with the same situation, but you need to feel bad. You need to feel bad. That is Kyle's whole thing here. So Crystal, she goes on to explain, okay, now I understand it a little bit more clear. And I'm glad that Crystal actually took the time to have this one-on-one conversation with Sutton, because she knew if she had the same conversation in a group setting and she just threw it out there, she knew that after Crystal, everybody would just hop on and pile up on Sutton one by one. Like, you did this, you did that. How dare you this? How dare you that? That's what Kyle probably wants. So, and let's just say that Sutton did play along with Kyle the first episode, and she just cried along with her about the whole Dorit situation. I'm pretty sure that Kyle or the rest of the women will find an issue with something that Sutton did, like, oh, you cried about the situation, but you know what? You didn't cry enough. Or you know what? That cry seemed insincere. It seemed fake. I don't think so. I want you to cry again and make it look real. Make it look a little bit more sincere. I'm pretty sure they will find an issue with Sutton one way or another. We get to the grand opening of Kyle's new store called Two-Face, and as I'm looking at this one woman that they keep putting the camera on, I'm like, who is this with the brown hair? And then at the bottom of the screen, it says Teddy. And I'm like, Teddy, what are you doing back here again? And Teddy, I was on to you in your scheme, because she dyed her hair brown. Unlike the typical blonde hair that we usually know her as, she probably thought that she was going to come to this event and cause up drama with Garcelle, Lisa, possibly Sutton, or anybody else on the cast. And she probably thought that the producers were going to look at her like, who is this mysterious woman in brown hair? She's causing drama on this show already, and she's only been here for one event. You know what? We need to cast her for the next season. No, it failed. They were on to you. And on top of that, every time that we kind of got a little image or a little montage of Teddy at the event, it was always kind of like from her side profile or from the back. So we never really got to see her face to face. It was almost like kind of like on the Powerpuff Girls. You know, Miss Bellum, that we never saw her face. We always just saw her like this. That's the type of edit that they gave Teddy. Like, we see that you're here, but we're not really going to show that you're really here. So then all the other women that are actually on the cast, they all arrive one by one. And I wasn't really liking anything that anybody was wearing besides maybe Erika. I mean, I believe Erika was wearing snake print. How ironic. But that's the closest. Everybody else, I'm like, this is what we wear to a store opening. But okay, and then Diana. She walks in, and Diana, I know deep down inside, she was so unimpressed. She was just like, oh, let me touch the material. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I will wear some of this stuff if I was home. And I'm like, damn, Diana, like, okay, I mean, if your standards are that high. And then Kyle, this was a sign that you should have never went along with this story. You should have never opened it up, because as she was trying to cut the ribbon to the grand entrance of the store, the scissors were not budging. It was like a sign from the heavens or something that you should not be doing this, because the scissors, they were just like, no, Kyle, no, don't do it. Don't cut the ribbon. Stop. No, don't do it. Don't do it. It's going to shut down in 5 months. Don't do it. Oh, Kyle. It's too late now. Well, good luck with your store. I tried to stop you and I tried to warn you, so that's that. Dorit and Sutton eventually come face to face, and they're making small talk, but eventually Sutton breaks the ice and she tells Dorit, I know Kyle has told you about my comments that I made about your whole situation, but I want you to know that they were never coming from a bad point of view. They were never coming from a malicious point of view. I would never be insensitive to your whole situation. And again, I don't believe that Sutton would do that. Again, she may have said the wrong thing accidentally in their eyes, but I just don't think that she would purposely do that to hurt Dorit's feelings. What for? I mean, what would she have against her? Erika, maybe. If she says something insensitive, I guess, towards Erika, that would be a whole different story, because we know their history. But between Dorit and Sutton, they never really had an issue between each other. So she tells Dorit, and I'm so sorry for doing all that. I never really say the right things at the right moment. Sometimes when I get upset about things or it triggers my trauma, I say the wrong things and it could get me in trouble. And yes, she has done that in the past, and she does put her own foot in her mouth sometimes. And again, she is socially awkward sometimes. So again, she probably doesn't respond to everything the way that Kyle or anybody around her would typically respond. And Dorit, she's like, it's okay, my baby. I forgive you. No, I completely understand. Let's go shopping for a new Louis Vuitton bag. And did y'all see Kyle on the side? I mean, she had her fangs out. She was just waiting to pounce on Sutton the second that she didn't hear Sutton apologize or say something that she wanted. Like, she was just standing on guard. I'm like, Kyle, relax. Don't you have a store opening to, like, go do or something? Don't you have to go greet the customers or something? Like, God, she was just really standing next to her like, I got you, Dorit. I got you. Meanwhile, Erika and Diana, they're having their own conversation. Erika, she has on this expensive ring, right? She's looking at Diana. She's like, Diana, I have this expensive ring, but I know that you have the black one. Yeah, you have the black one. Do you think that maybe you could give me the black one, or buy me one, or buy me a couple of jewelries? You know what? Just buy me a couple of dresses in this store too. Yeah, I'll eventually have it in the future. No, I'll have money in the future. But do you think that you could buy me something right now, please? And I'm like, damn, Erika, you're really trying to make Diana your sugar, what is it? Not sugar daddy, your sugar mommy. I'm like, wow, no shame whatsoever. But you know what? I'm here for it. Because if she has the money and she's willing to throw it out, why not? I mean, she's already being made a fool of by her husband, probably. So why not, double it with you? Honestly, Diana, give me a ring too while you're at it if you're watching. After the store opening, they all head back to Kyle's house, where they're all having a good time for the most part. They're all drinking. They're all having desserts. They're talking about babies. The dogs are running around all over the place. I mean, I'm passionate about dogs. I'm just not crazy about bitches. So then Garcelle, she sees all of this and she's like, nope, this isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna work. We need the ratings. Everybody, come around. We're all gonna say what we were saying behind Sutton's back when she wasn't there to her face now that she's here. And I'm like, well, damn, Garcelle, wait to keep the show going. But you know what? I'm here for it. So then Sutton, she starts it off by saying that she was being sincere with Dorit and her apology. And she feels sorry that she put herself first before putting Dorit's feelings before her. So Dorit, she goes on and says, she's like, yeah, I forgive you. I accept your apology. I thought it was being sincere, right? Dorit, she has no issue whatsoever, right? And again, Dorit is the one that's going through this whole alleged robbery, right? Not Kyle, right? Let's get all that together. So then Sutton, she's like, yeah, I was being sincere. Kyle, she puts her 2 cents in and she's like, oh yeah, I see how sincere you can really be. I know you were being sincere. She was trying to be shady with it, and they put the music in the background. Sutton's just like, what? Like, what did I do to you? So then Kyle, she went on this whole rant and she's like, I just feel like you could have been a little bit more empathetic to Dorit. I mean, how could you not put her before you? I just can't believe you. Like, you didn't care about her at all. And I'm like, Kyle, I just don't understand it. Like, I really don't get it. Like, why is Kyle so pressed on Sutton just not really caring or not giving her the reaction, or at least giving the reaction to Dorit that she wanted? I don't get why it hurts Kyle so bad. You see, Dorit, she's okay with that, right? Like, she's okay with it. She forgave Sutton. That's the only person's opinion that should matter in this whole situation. So Kyle, I'm not sure what's going on here. At this point, I feel like this is what Kyle wants. She wants Sutton to, get on her knees in front of Dorit and cry and beg for forgiveness. I feel like that's the only way that Kyle maybe will be happy about it. But meanwhile, Diana, aka Dirty Diana, shout out to the person who used that in my last review in the comments. We'll go with that. Dirty Diana, she jumps in and she's like, Sutton, I just feel like you're a bit clumsy and you're a bit weird. I mean, you apologized like 3 times already within 20 minutes. Who does that? Here comes Erika. Yep. And I'm like, Erika, if I was you, I would just shh again, because clumsy and weird are the last 2 words to describe you. As for you, Dirty Diana, if I was Sutton, that list of allegations all would have been flown right in your direction. Like, oh, you want to call me that? Okay, let's bring out my list. So you're accused of this, and this. Is it all true? Sutton was a better person than I was, because Sutton, she just remained calm. She was like, well, I mean, I like to apologize. I think that my apologies are sincere, and it is what it is. And I'm like, Sutton, no. I think you need to charge up your battery again and aim towards Diana, because Diana just came at you like Tracy did to Risa and Louis. Just adding your 2 cents in for no reason. I'm like, Diana, you're new here. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure that Diana's thoughts on Sutton were already swayed, because her and Erika, they seem to be getting along, because obviously Erika wants her money. So Erika probably talked so much trash about Sutton and probably told her, oh, she's such a terrible person. And Diana, she went along with it. And on top of that, she's friends with Lisa, and that's all you need to know. So Crystal starts whispering over to Garcelle, stating that there's a bunch of hypocrisy going on in the group after seeing how everything is playing out with Sutton. All of a sudden, Kyle catches wind of that, and she's like, what did you say, Crystal? Crystal, she starts making out her case and her points, and they are very valid and very good points. And she's like, I just think it's so funny how everybody is all of a sudden against Sutton for something that she said and did that nobody agrees or likes. But yet, when I was trying to do the same thing last season, last year, everybody was coming at me like, oh no, you shouldn't use the word violate. She didn't violate you. Don't use those type of words in this group. Stop that. Give Sutton the benefit of the doubt. I just think it's so hypocritical. Kyle, all of a sudden, she's like, no, I just think that you're comparing oranges to bananas to oranges, grapes to pineapple. I just think you're doing too much. You're being way too dramatic. And I'm like, Kyle, I know. Kyle Richards, come over here. Come over here. Get a little closer. Get a little closer. Hold on. I'll get closer for you. I know you're not calling Crystal dramatic when just we're only 3 episodes in, and you've been the most dramatic one this season. Like, are you not the same one that's saying, how dare Sutton not apologize to Dorit? How dare you not apologize? Is that not being dramatic? I don't understand it. I don't get it. Crystal, she made a very valid point. I mean, I also want to understand why all of a sudden now everybody's aiming at Sutton. But just last year, everybody was just like, no, Team Sutton. Crystal needs to go down. Dorit, she also adds her 2 cents in, and she's like, I really don't get the correlation with all of that, my baby. I don't get it. Should I call Bubba so he could understand? Or maybe I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand anything. And then I believe Crystal, she was like, well, I think I made my point pretty clear. Garcelle, she tries to say, I just feel like, everything that's going on with this situation right now, Sutton, she already apologized. And I just feel like you're blowing it out of proportion, Kyle. And Kyle became the ultimate Karen. It's been a minute since I've heard her yelled out loud where her vein almost popped out of her neck. She's like, I will not apologize. I will not apologize for feeling the way I felt. Sutton was very empathetic to Dorit, and that's that. I will not apologize for having my feelings hurt. And I'm like, Kyle, relax. It's just a show. Relax. And that right there is what I want to know too. Why are your feelings so hurt about it? Again, for the 100th time I feel like at this point, I'm gaslighting myself. the way I keep repeating myself, because she already accepted, what's her name? Sutton's apology. So again, what is this to you? If anything, you should just drop it and move on from it. I don't get what the deal is. Kyle, not everybody reacts to the same things the way you do or anybody else in this group does. If anything, what you should be doing is pointing a finger at yourself as to why you didn't question Erika all last season about her allegations. That's a good question that we all want to know. Sutton goes on to explain that the biggest lesson that she learned between the situation with her and Crystal last year was the accountability of respect and how you have to respect people and their boundaries. And then here comes Erika. And just like Garcelle said, here we go. Like, Erika, again, you were doing so good just staying quiet. You know, let Diana do the dirty work. Let Dorit do the dirty work. Let Kyle do the dirty work. You just need to stay in the back and, you know, just let these allegations kind of fly by until you're caught. But no, you want to put yourself in the spotlight. She's like, well, hold on a second. So you want to talk about respect. Did you think that you respected me? Because in this very same room last year, you called me a liar. You called me a fucking liar. Do you think that you did what you did was right? And then Sutton, she was just like, I do agree with everything I said. I'm like, yes, and don't back down to her. So then Erika was just like, well, I think that you're a fucking liar. So no, I will eat you up over and over and over and over again, you fucking bitch. And I'm like, woo, wait a minute, Erika. That's one too many B words for me. Like, Sutton, again, Diana and Erika, nope, absolutely not. Both of them would have been thrown in that pool so quickly. I would have been like, okay, Garcelle, Crystal, you got my hand? Okay, let's go after them. She continues on by saying that everything that Sutton accused her of last year was all untrue. It was all not real, and none of it ever happened. And I'm like, what? I was with Sutton in the confessional when she was just like, I don't get why Erika is just throwing all of this out there as if she's proven to be 100% innocent. And everybody's just kind of going along with her BS, and it's just kind of trying to move on from it as if it never happened. And I feel like with Erika, what's going on with her is that, one, she's delusional, and two, she feels that just because she is legally unmarried from Tom and she divorced him, that all of the issues that they had together are just left in the past with him and that marriage, and now she's a free woman. That's what she probably feels like. Oh yeah, I'm innocent now. I'm away from him. I did my deed. I wiped my hands away from him, and that's that. No, those allegations are still out there, Erika. Until you're 100% innocent, you're, kind of in the guilty pile. For now, at least. At least that's what it looks like to the audience. Kyle, I'm not sure what your hang up is with Sutton. At this point, I feel like Sutton fucked Mauricio, because there is just no way that Kyle is that upset over something that the RHOBH should be upset about, Kyle. Like, it's really not that serious. Lisa, out of all people, decides to jump in and give her 2 cents in it. Did y'all notice how this whole entire episode, we have not heard a peep from Lisa at all till this very moment? And she's like, look, I know your feelings are validated. Sutton, your feelings are validated. Crystal, your feelings are validated. But I feel like we just need to worry about Dorit for now. Like, she's the one that we really need to be worrying about. Like, are you okay? Are you this? Are you that? We need to give you a hug. Are you okay? We'll be there for you. And it's a cold day in hell when I agree with Lisa. Because I agree with her. I mean, if everybody's so worried about Dorit, why are we all throwing fingers at each other and fighting each other, knowing that the real victim is sitting right there next to us, and we should be really, babying her and coddling her, or whatever they want to do, or whatever Kyle thinks is necessary. So then I believe Crystal, she was just like, you know what? I'm done talking about this, because it's never going to work. You're never going to see it my way. I'm never going to see it your way, because I see things from a different perspective. And I just think it's hypocritical. Dorit, the season 11 Dorit came out, the season 11 reunion Dorit came out, because she was just like, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? Crystal, who says that? Are you fucking serious? I'm so glad that Juan Dixon is not here right now. Now, see, if I was Crystal, I would have been like, Dorit, I would have grabbed her by the headband, like, come over here. I need you to lower your tone just a couple fake accents down, because who are you screaming at like that? Like, Dorit, it's one thing when all the other women scream at each other, but it's something when Dorit does it. Is that I don't like it. Like, Crystal's just like, you know what, Kyle and everybody else here, you're just never going to understand my feelings. You're never going to validate them. And I forgot how her quote went. I might butcher it, but she said the most spot on thing about everybody else here and the rest of the group. She was just like, you'll never understand my feelings. You will never validate them unless it happens to you, or something on the lines of that. And I'm like, exactly, Crystal, exactly. And we said it. Like, I agree with everything Crystal was saying. None of the women, specifically Erika, Diana at this point, Lisa as well, and Kyle and Dorit, they will never get anybody else's on the other side. Garcelle, Crystal, and Sutton. They will never understand their feelings because they're all like a little clique, and they only want to understand each other's feelings, but never the other team. So, of course, Crystal, you win this argument. Kyle, she's like, I'm not apologizing for this. It is what it is. Crystal's just like, I can't do this right now. I'm not doing this. So she gets up. She's like, I'm leaving. Diana, she gets up too. I'm not really sure what she meant. She was like, oh, I'm the bodyguard. I'm the bodyguard. And she decides to walk away. So she's leaving as well. Dorit, she eventually calms down and she goes up to Crystal. She's like, look, I understand what you're going through, but I'm the real victim here and we need to be worried about me. And that's another thing too that is kind of like rubbing me the wrong way. The more Kyle shoves it down my throat that I should feel bad about Dorit, the more I'm not going to give a fuck. Like the more I would have been like, okay, Kyle, I don't care. Dorit, I don't care either. And what are you two going to do about it? Like that would have been my reaction because, okay, I would have felt bad. I would have probably gave some sympathy to Dorit, but the more you're hammering away at me and trying to make me feel something that you want me to feel, the more I'm going to rebel against it. And the more I'm going to be like, you know what? No, I'm going to stand in what I feel. And I don't care about this. If anything, I feel like PK set you up, Dorit. Now what? If you really want it to be messy, but that was that. Diana's walking away. Dorit and Crystal, they kind of squashed it just a little bit. Crystal and Sutton, they get up. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Because they have to leave, right? So they get in the same car as Diana. And I'm like, that's awkward because Diana just came for Sutton. And Sutton is over here just being cordial with her in the car. No, Sutton. If I was Sutton, I would have done it real Bad Girls Club style. In the Bad Girls Club on the show, when they fight in the limo, that's how I would have approached Diana. Like, okay, let's wait until we're in the truck. What did you say about me, bitch? You called me weird and clumsy? Let's go at it. Bam, bam, bam. But no, she was just there explaining the whole situation that happened last year with Crystal, Diana. She's kind of like ditzy in the head. She's like, oh, yeah. I think we should all be friends. Like that's the type of vibe that Diana gives me. Like she just has all this money, but there's like nothing in the head. Like there's nothing there. So they eventually leave. They go back to their hotel, and that was that. Crystal, she was crying, she was teary-eyed, and then we're left with Garcelle and the rest of the women. Erika, she's just like, I feel like we shouldn't really invalidate her feelings. I mean, we shouldn't really interpret her feelings like that, like at all. I mean, until she explains it a little bit more further, we just know that she feels some type of way now. And they're all confused as to why Crystal all of a sudden now, she wants to have this huge argument. And honestly, I feel like this was probably a buildup. She probably saw it from the beginning when they were at her house, like, they're turning on Sutton. And then here, when Kyle was trying to give her point of view, and it came out a little bit more, aggressive, she probably thought, yeah, I definitely see them for what they are now. So that's probably why it all came out the way it did now. It was just a built up a bunch of emotions. Garcelle is just like, yeah, it is what it is. Erika, I believe Kyle, she straddles her and she tries to shake her ass and she's like, oh, she's the voice of reasoning, blah, blah, blah. No. And that was that, everybody. What did everybody think about this episode? And do you agree with what Crystal was telling Kyle? Or do you agree with vice versa? Do you think that Sutton was a little bit too cold-hearted with her reaction to Dorit, or did she have a point? And what do y'all think about the feud starting already that we're seeing cracks of Diana versus Sutton? What do y'all think about her so far? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.